just talking about the show last night. Flappers was a great time. Such a lovely, joyful experience to be out doing comedy in front of people. Because you guys know, I believe that doing comedy is the Lord's work. That comedy is
Absolutely.
necessary. It's healing. And some
Yep.
they say laughter is the best medicine. And some medicine tastes bad. Some of it stinks. Some of it stings, but it
Hmm.
heals, and that's okay. That's why all comedy is okay with me as long as it stays comedy. As long as you're getting,
Do you remember the end of Arthur, with the original Arthur,
yeah,
when she's like, he's been all beat up, and she's like touching up
yes,
his with the alcohol, and she's like, you really have to stop doing this. He's like, I promise, if you promise to never ever put that stuff on my face again.
yes. I was like, in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, when Steve Martin crawled home apparently after he'd been given a Mickey by this woman, and he's like, he's like, where am I? And she's like, you're in your office. And he's like, how did I get here? And she goes, I think you crawled. And they cut to his knees, and they're all scarred up and bloody. It's in black and white, so it looks even worse. His pants are torn open, his knees are exposed, and she starts walking over towards him with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol in a rag, and she's like, let me take care of it. He's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, no, this is just a little bit. He's like, I'm fine. No, it's okay. And she's like, no, let me do the leg. And then he takes his gun and he goes, get back. And just, and then he grabs the bottle from her and pours it out like it's poison, throws it away. It's so good. And it's all how we as children all felt when our parents put
Yep.
like rubbing alcohol or hydrogen peroxide on your lungs, like until you learn to like it. When
Mm.
I turned a corner when I was a kid where I enjoyed the
I
sting of
thought I did
peroxide.
until I got that really bad road rash when I fell on the trail.
Right.
There's something about alcohol and road rash.
Oh
It's
yeah,
eternal.
not the alcohol part of it. I'm talking about peroxide. Just the
Oh yeah,
watching it
yeah.
bubble and the kind of,
Oh, that's always fun.
yeah, it's a good time. So we were talking about talking about last night. Like it's just kind of the generalized aspect of the show where it just felt good to be out and together, amongst people. And I'm sure that that's true of everybody to some degree. Well, no, I take it back. Not everybody. Some people are afraid to go out still, even though they're going out. They're really tepid. You know, everybody's walking around like Carrie the day after. You know, I might have overdone it last night a touch.
You know,
Then you go back to the grocery store and you're pushing around, still in your prom dress, um, and everybody's like, "Oh, hi, look who's here." You feel that awkwardness, that social awkwardness, and so you're going out and you're amongst people again, and COVID's still, in your mind. Do I need a
yeah,
booster yet? All those kind of things, and you're keeping up on that, and you're doing your best. But life is going on. Life is starting to restart again, and right now, Biden is meeting with the G20. He just met with the Pope. They had a private conversation, Catholic to Pope. And everybody was mad that they didn't film it or whatever. They did their little glad handing part of it, and then he met with him in private.
yeah,
I'm like, you do realize it's the Pope. He's meeting the Pope. He's gonna now. I wonder if they did confession. That's what
yeah,
where it's like, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 45 minutes since my last confession. It's the Vatican. I've been
yeah.
going door to door. How do you pass up on this? So many confession booths at the
Right.
Vatican. How do you not hit them all? It's like the Disneyland of Catholicism. And so he's sitting there going, I stared lustfully at an ice cream cone on my way in. I can't. I had impure thoughts about an ice cream cart on the way in. I heard an ice cream truck, and I was filled with impure thoughts. Whatever. So then the G20 leaders are meeting, and something amazing is happening beyond the fact that America's economic recovery is like the rest of the world, having to deal with supply chain issues, having to deal with the fact that we rely too heavily on Chinese production of a lot of things for a long time, and it came back to bite us.
Yeah.
That diversity of the supply chain turned out to not be actual diversity. It turned out to be a chain with 3 weak links in it in a row.
Yeah.
And now the chain is broken, and people are trying to like use twine to tie the barge rope, but it's not holding, right? So they're trying to fix that. And all the economies of the world, and this is something you will not hear on Fox News, are in the same boat. The same boat that is waiting to come into the harbor in Los Angeles, that is out there full of lawn furniture and plastic toys and Christmas trees, apparently, which I don't get. But it's waiting out there in the water to come in, and they're all talking about it. They all realize it's something they have to solve, and they are. They're going about it as fast as they can, and we know that there's actually a huge chip factory, as we know that chips are going to be computer chips, not Lay's potato chips, which are making me crave salt right now. That there's going to be a big factory, a chip factory opening up in Arizona, that this Taiwanese chip giant is going to open, the biggest chip manufacturer in the world, Taiwanese company. I know you think everything's made in China. No, it's assembled in China from parts made all over the place. And a lot of the chips come from Taiwan. And Taiwan, because of their dealings with China and getting materials from there and factories that they work with to get them other components, slowed down their stuff too. So they decided to move to a country that's trustworthy. So they're building a factory here. And it's going to be built. It's going to take a little time, but we're going to have, we're going to start shortening that supply chain.
Amazing.
Yes, it's incredible. Could have happened at any time over the last 4 years. Why didn't it, though? It's almost as if someone was trying to make an agricultural trade deal to appease red state farmers and the illusion that that's how you do it, and bypassed every other thing that affects those farmers' lives, including the ability to buy a car or a new piece of technology or a new laptop or any of those things that help you coordinate your sale of your goods from your farm to market. Go figure. Anyways.
You know what I keep thinking about? Are there
Boy,
Russian
do I.
cars?
Hmm?
Are there Russian cars?
Yeah,
like,
there's.
Is there a Russian car brand?
Yes. Yeah. You wouldn't want one, obviously. In Russia, car drives you. Right.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
No, not at all. And if you want to know the state of current Russian auto technology, there are plenty of rabbit holes you can go down of Russian dash cams.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You get to see, most of us have to watch, if we want to see the crash test on a car you're interested in buying, you can go online and watch it. And they'll be in a controlled environment. They will speed this car towards a wall or a corner with crash test dummies in it. In Russia, you just get to go to the mark and you just scroll through YouTube, Russian YouTube, and look for the car you're thinking about buying. And there'll be dozens upon dozens of people being hit by trains in that car.
Themselves in front of your car for insurance money.
That's right. Or a truck trying to make a turn it can't possibly make at a speed it should never go in the first place. Jackknifing,
like sliding down a mountain into you.
Yeah, exactly. Just losing total control. Right.
Just landslides because they have nothing blocking that stuff from the road.
Yeah, sitting like rolling over for no particular reason except for the front wheel went out, and an upside down shot as a super pack of wolves approach you. In rural Russia, that kind of thing. Just you see their eyes glowing in the night before the camera disappears. So yeah, there's plenty of footage of that. Hey, but at least Putin's a leader, right, Trump? Anyways,
yeah, he is.
This is real news. Biden and other G20 leaders. This is in the Washington Post and in other places where stories belong that people aren't really paying attention. Formally endorsed groundbreaking global corporate minimum tax. The new global minimum tax of 15% aims to reverse the decades-long decline in tax rates on corporations across the world. You know, the idea that they can run to Ireland and escape, even though they're totally American companies, even though their headquarters are in Cupertino. I don't know who I'm talking about, but you can figure it out. But they're technically an Irish company because Ireland doesn't have a minimum corporate tax rate. So they're able to skate around it depending on what the absolute bare minimum of the fees they might pay. And if they don't actually conduct any business, they never pay any fees. So you just exist on paper in a country with no minimum tax. And then also along, this is in Rome. My Aunt Sophie used to say, "Go to Rome." I'm going to go to Rome. So Biden and the other national leaders gathered for the Group of 20 summit. They formally endorsed a new global minimum tax on Saturday, capping months of negotiations over the groundbreaking tax accord. The new global minimum tax of 15% aims to reverse the decades-long decline in tax rates on corporations across the world, a trend experts say has deprived governments of revenue to fund social spending programs. And also, by the way, never mind social spending programs, to fund all the legal protections those corporations enjoy. Let's just say you don't think the corporations should be taxed so that they can, so we can fund, universal pre-K or healthcare or any of those things. Let's just say you're a total libertarian about this thing, all right? Understand that American taxpayers pay for the FBI, the IRS, the federal government on multiple levels to go after intellectual property violations worldwide, to seize technology that's been stolen and sold on the black market, all that stuff, working with Interpol, working with the FBI. Our tax dollars pay to protect the very corporate technology that is proprietary that makes these companies exist in the first place. The American taxpayer has gone all over the world trying to make sure that KFC's secret recipe stays a secret. And if a giant corporation doesn't pay any taxes, then we are doing that for them for nothing in return. They are using the police we are paying for to protect their bottom line and then not paying into that system in that regard. So there's lots of things that the FAA worldwide, the whole world's airplane system is predicated on the standards that the American Aviation Association creates, that our agencies, the standards, that's the baseline. That's what everybody operates to meet, is the FAA standards in the United States. And our tax dollars pay for that, maintain that, codify it, make it function, grow it, make it improve all the time. And those improvements trickle down the rest of the world and keep planes from bashing into each other or falling out of the sky, saving millions of lives all the time. You just forget. Look at one of those maps of planes all over the world flying when you're like, oh my God, look at all the planes that are in there all the time. Look at those and understand that without the American taxpayer, a bunch of those things would be running into each other all the time. All the time. It's terrible in other countries. And if we didn't have that baseline standard, it would not exist. You're welcome, world. And the American taxpayer pays for that. And corporations who don't pay any tax, they use that more than anyone.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we pay for the tickets and we pay for the taxes on those tickets. Well, so do the rest of us. We don't get exempt because our tax dollars are used for the FAA. We also pay that. Everybody pays that, dum-dum. So this fifth...
I love it when you say dumb.
I know, it aggravates me. We got to take a break. When we come back, you have to understand, this is largely to do with Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen is the one who's coordinating all of this. This 15% minimum tax rate amongst all the Western countries of note is extraordinary. This is a huge thing. This will protect American businesses from the giant sucking sound of multinationals leaving, because they won't gain that much when they go someplace else, and they'll lose some of the protections that they get if they do move. And the extraordinary protections that American companies get because they're American companies that they also get to keep when they move to someplace else where they're not paying any taxes is absurd.
Yeah.
And now they can't do that anymore once this goes. I love it. Anyways, we'll be back right after this.